morning, everybody. Welcome into the Winklerverse. I am Bart Winkler. It is Friday, March 27th, Friday morning. Just past 9 o'clock is when I come to you live on the Dan Shaney YouTube stream, as well as Twitter and Facebook and the like. Probably got a good hour or so in me. I actually made somewhat of a rundown for today. There's a lot of things that I want to discuss. It's been a good week on the show. Carlos is always great. The guys are always great. Andrew Wagner, I think, was really good. And it's good to see what he's up to. And and yesterday was very fun. Yesterday I went to opening day, but just in the parking lot. And for people that know like what it is I quote unquote do, oh yeah, I can easily tell you. Yeah, I went to the Miller Park parking lot and walked around for 2 hours and talked to people, did a live stream for my podcast. But I met somebody else, or I was walking to school with somebody else yesterday to pick up my kid, and he's like, "Why aren't you at opening day?" And I was like, "Well, because he knows I'm a Brewers fan. I don't think he knows what I do." But I was like, "Yeah, I went to the parking lot for 2 hours, and then I came home." And I was trying to describe. I mean, some people do that. Some people just hang out to tailgate, but that was very fun. So anybody that I ran into, anybody that shouted, "Hey, Winkler," that was a good time. I'm glad I did that and hope to do more stuff like that in the future. So if you're a part of it in any way, watching or will watch or had watched, that was really, really fun. The next time I want to be in that parking lot for an extended amount of time is later this summer. And I am working on getting a tailgate set sometime in July. There's a Marlins game on a Saturday afternoon. That's the one I'm aiming for. Hope to have more details on that in a little bit. Brewers did get the win. I'm going to talk some Brewers here today. The NBA apparently wants to change their lottery. I saw this tweet. I saw the article. I haven't dug into it yet. I'm going to read it live for the first time. I think I'm going to struggle with reading it live, and I think I'm going to struggle understanding it. I want to talk about some March Madness and want to talk about some other stuff. Baseball season's back and all that kind of stuff. So strap on in. It is into the Winklerverse. This is where there would be some sort of intro. Bum, ba, ba, da, boop, boop, doo, doo, into the Winklerverse. Mike says, "Good morning, sir." Good morning, Mike. All right, first things first, Brewers got the win 14-2 over the White Sox yesterday. They, of course, don't play on Friday. They'll pick up their series this weekend. It is weird. I do agree that this is a weird way to, like, kill momentum. I think with baseball having the World Baseball Classic, you saw that baseball, and I talked about this with Paul and Grant the other day, with baseball. You saw that baseball can be a sport that if it was truncated, the stakes on baseball, I don't know that there's anything like a baseball game. I don't know that there's anything like a baseball game when it's immediate. Like a Game 7 baseball game experience is so different than a random Tuesday at any other time of the year. And I do wish we had a world where baseball was more like that, because I think that it is as intense as any other sport you can have. I mean, obviously with March Madness, it's one and done. The NFL playoffs is one and done. I think hockey, when you go to overtime, it's so it's especially in the playoffs, it's so chaotic and just one bounce of the puck and the game can be over. But in baseball, man, grinding out every pitch, you're into it as soon as the first inning. And that's why I, don't know that a lot of people make that connection or feel that kind of shift when you get to the playoffs. That's why I always want to stand up and I'm into it, because this pitch in the second inning is life or fucking death, man. But we're so used to it for 162 games not being life or death. Even opening day yesterday, I obviously was at the ballpark, and then I listened to the first 2 innings on the way home, and then I watched 3 innings, and then I didn't watch an inning or 2. I was, in the shower, and then I caught back up with it. You don't have to sit there at the screen every single second to watch baseball. You can be like, oh, what happened in that last inning, what happened, you can catch up. And there's 162 games, and you are not going to watch all of them. You have the ability to, and we know what TV channels they're going to be on, but there'll be a Saturday you're at a wedding. There'll be a late night game that you fall asleep early. You don't need to watch all 162 games. I will still throw out my idea that a 17-game MLB NFL schedule would be fucking sweet. I don't know how you would do your pitching staffs. You might just need one guy, Mizorowski, and maybe 3 other guys, so they'd lose a bunch of jobs. But baseball, I think, what I'm saying is it is a sport that it makes sense if you did 17 games or really did like a sprint kind of thing. But it also works as a long season. I don't think any other sport could work as 162 games because and maybe that's just because we're ingrained in it. But no, you can't do 162 games of football, even 162 games of basketball. These guys can't play 82. They can't play 65. But baseball, there is something romantic, charming, nice, comforting in knowing that 6 of the 7 days a week, there's a baseball game. And you can, just be out for a jog or at the park or on the boat or whatever you do at the bar. And you can like kind of follow it and stay in tune, but you don't have to be hyper focused on every pitch. So it's something that can work both ways. I wish we were able to experience it like that. Maybe just having a World Baseball Classic every year would be, I don't know. I think it's a sport that is versatile, that it can do both. 162 is a lot. We're starting the season at the end of March. It ends late October, and sometimes it dips into November. It works. The dog days of summer, there's a baseball game on. Like I said, if it's a Wednesday afternoon game and they don't play again until Friday night, you feel like that is torture. That's a long, long time. But I think it works both ways. They're never going to go to a 16-game season, so it's kind of foolish to even talk about it like that. But it was a good start. And what I'm saying also is there is a momentum right now because opening day always does feel a little heightened. The crowd, when Contreras hits the 3-run double, that's going to be as loud of a reaction on opening day as it is any other time in the season. You want to win opening day. So that game does feel bigger. And then we're going to play again on Saturday. And if you go 1-1, okay. Or if you take 2 out of 3 in the series, all right. So it is a marathon thing. Baseball works as a marathon and as a sprint. I wish there was a way we could enjoy it as both, but it doesn't seem like we can. But with the Brewers, hopefully they give us a pretty good marathon here. M Shark is saying in the 1800s, guys didn't want to be home with their wives and wanted to be on the road to bang chicks as much as possible. Wasn't every day because they needed recovery time. And I think the enhancements in travel and possibly banging since the 1800s have maybe made the old schedule obsolete. So I don't know, but I don't think that's true, but it sounds true enough to share on the show. I do have a voicemail regarding the Brewers. I'll get to that. Again, 14-2. Miz was great. 5 innings he wins, so he did get the win. Struck out 11, gave up that first home run to the first batter, and then they sort of bookended that later. The White Sox did 2 solo shots. Pretty much every pitcher except their last guy gave up a crooked number. Brewers scored in every inning, but the first, third, and eighth, of course, didn't need to bat in the 9th. Great to see Bauers already get on the home run tear, and he hit a home run in the exhibition game. So, this is a guy that had a pretty good spring training. Great to see Frelick hit the home run. Great to see Joey Ortiz come up with the bases loaded and actually driving a run. I saw some of Tim Allen's post last night. He's calling him Johei Ohtani. I'll stick with that. I like that. David Hamilton has a nice debut, even though it's going to take me a while to really appreciate him because I was such a Caleb Durbin guy. But a good night overall. Yelich and Contreras and Terang. And now I'm just mentioning the lineup, of course. But everybody getting involved in a hit in some way if they were in the starting lineup, except for Mitchell, but he got on and had an a couple of walks. So a good day for the Brewers offense, and hope to keep that going, especially against the White Sox and then into next week. I got a voicemail here. I will play the voicemails. You can send in your voicemails on the Carl's Place voicemail line. That is 402-915-BART, 402-915-2278. Carl's Place, of course, with the golf simulators. Check those out. The link to go there is always in the comments of these YouTube videos, and you can just go and spread it around. Again, I know that maybe not everybody can just say, oh, I'll put a golf simulator in my house this weekend, but it could be a long-term thought, or it could be something that, a buddy or a family member or even a workspace or whatever. So check it out at Carl's Place. Got a quick voicemail here. I'll play that for you now.
Hey, Bart, just got done listening, or actually just reading an article by Ian Miller from Outkick.com. Pretty scathing review of Mark Attanasio and the Brewers organization, how much money they're hoarding. So when he's telling us how much money he doesn't have, he's basically just a bald-faced liar. This upcoming season is going to be interesting to see what happens, but I don't know, I just thought I'd throw it out there. I can't wait to listen. Thanks.
All right, so, yeah, wow, an article about Mark Attanasio hoarding his cash. And so I looked that up, and I don't know how you just read it, but there is an article on Outkick from Ian Miller. Milwaukee Brewers, MLB's best team, are absolutely insufferable. Pat Murphy says most Brewers players won't make Dodgers roster despite team's best record in baseball. Published October 14th of last year. And in it, it's basically just a guy shitting all over the Brewers. And at the end, there is a title of the article, Brewers have to cry poor to give themselves motivation. I mean, this is just a hit piece on the whole fucking thing. What makes Milwaukee especially insufferable, again, this is an article from October, but beyond their humble average Joe act, is that their ownership simply doesn't care. Relative to estimated earnings from Forbes, the Brewers spent just 40% of their revenue on payroll. That's one of the lowest shares in the league. The Dodgers spent an estimated 73%. Milwaukee could spend more money on talent. They choose not to because it's more important for Mark Attanasio to pocket profits. Just stop being fake. The byline says Ian Miller is the author of 2 books, a USC alum, and an avid LA Dodgers fan. Which I don't... Okay, so first of all, again, that was from October, before they played the Dodgers. I don't understand why everyone just has to default hate the Brewers. I don't understand that. They are a plucky team. They make a lot of trades for dudes that we've never heard of. Even they make these trades, and it takes a while for, I was on with Grant the other day, and I forgot David Hamilton was a part of the Caleb Durbin deal. I was so, bummed that my new best friend Caleb Durbin was shipped out to Boston. That I didn't really look at the pieces back, or just figured, this is a guy that I guess. Same with Durbin. Durbin came here. I'm like, who the fuck is this? And then he becomes somebody, and they have an Isaac Collins like that, and then they trade him. They're not. Here's the thing with the Brewers. They're going to be pesky. You're going to predict them to win less games than they will end up winning. You're going to predict them to be lower in the standings than they'll end up being. But this is not for Brewers fans here. This is for everybody else. We are essentially harmless. We're going to get in the playoffs. We're going to lose. That's it. We're not going to take any titles away from you. We're not going to do anything. And then even when we do beat you, we're going to let you meme the way we celebrate. I don't understand how a team. It's like the Rays. The Rays for a long time, and they still are able to do this. They're kind of like the American League Brewers, although they spend way less money, and you still see them end up in a World Series and stuff, but they don't win. You're acting. Some of the people react to the Milwaukee Brewers Like they're the Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, New England Patriots. Like, oh, do they keep getting away with this? What are we getting away with? I guess if you're a Cubs fan, you're like, what the fuck? We're spending all this money. We took their manager and they're still beating us. Yeah, okay. But for everybody else, I feel like the Brewers are very harmless. Very harmless. I don't feel like we're gonna impact your life in a negative way. And it's just like, you know, when rich people see poor people like find a quarter, they're like, oh, you shouldn't have that quarter. Fuck you. Let me have my fucking quarter. It's just very weird. So I don't understand the agenda with that article. I don't understand how you just saw it 5 months later. But I appreciate the voicemail again on the Carl's Place voicemail hotline. It's the season of Ortizin. All right, Grant, that's pretty good. Morning to you, buddy. Charles says, good morning, Bart. I am glad baseball is back. Go for your dreams, with a nice $4.99 to the show, Charles. That is appreciated. Thank you very much. And Steve says, as long as they beat the Cubs, I'm happy. And that's how we felt last year, right? Like last year was a success because they beat the Cubs and then they lost to the Dodgers, which sucked. But overall, was last year not a good season? I am a champion. I am a champion guy. You know, I am. I talk a lot about we need to contend for chips. I understand you're not going to win a championship every season, but I want to know that you're competing for one. And I do feel like the Brewers are competing to get on the doorstep of one. I still think a year like last year was when you push the chips in a little more. And I know we love our prospects, but they don't always pan out. Now, what was the gap between them and the Dodgers? I don't know. Would a Eugenio Suarez have helped the Brewers beat the Dodgers? Probably not. And we have to go against this Dodgers team. I don't think enough people, when you look at the Dodgers, yeah, they're big payroll. Yeah, they're deferring contracts. The pitching staff that beat us was not the pitching staff that they were throwing all season. They had these guys essentially just on the shelf, ready to bust out for the playoffs. Okay? For the playoffs, man. So that's the bullshit. I think that's the bullshit. Is the Dodgers just have more tools. And you're a Dodgers fan. This article, you're a Dodgers fan saying this. You're paying Shohei fucking Ohtani $2 million a year out of pocket and deferring $600 million for him. Fuck you. You can't afford it. That's bullshit. Fuck. That is bullshit. Corey, would a season of mediocrity or worse make Mark go for it more? Do we need a shitty season to make it farther in the postseason? Essentially. That's a good question. I think that's a good question. And one that we can certainly dig into. If I was going to do this for 4 hours today, I would spend a lot of time. That's a great question. Would it be better to take one step forward to go 2 steps back? Would Mark see some sense of urgency? I don't mind the bites of the apple strategy in baseball because it is very fluky. But when you do have a team that's showing, hey, we're gonna punch above our weight, at some point you would like to see them do something a little more. I'm not asking Mark to make a big offseason move. I'm not asking him to make a 5-year, $300 million investment on a third baseman. What I would like to see that they are not doing is, okay, it's pretty clear we have a team that is capable of having the best record in baseball, going on long winning streaks. What do we need? Because we know it's not like at the beginning of the year, you're hopeful. But after 4 months of the season, you know what you have. And you know what you still need. So I wish they would just, turn it up to 11 maybe at some points. Jake says, yesterday's pod was my wife's favorite. Her quote, I love how Bart doesn't give a fuck. He seems genuine. That's what I try to do. Some people like it. Thank you for being one of those people. The other baseball top stories are the opener was on Netflix and everyone was mad. I think the wrong angle got taken there. Yeah, it was on Netflix and it was a shitty broadcast. Like Netflix is into Netflix was Netflix. Hold on. Fondy grade school. What was your favorite hot lunch item? I barely remember. I remember how square the pizzas were. And I remember that chocolate milk, I think, was only given out on Fridays and maybe Wednesdays. And when my buddy Tony ran for 6th grade class president and won, he campaigned on getting chocolate milk every day. The bottom of the milk cartons, too, said BW on them. It might have even said like B Winkler. It was really weird. I don't know. It was like all of them said that. I need to look more into that. You just triggered a weird memory there that I need to figure out. Turkey Haystacks, John Marzetti. I don't remember. I do not remember what I had for hot lunch at Roseno Elementary School. But it's a great question. Again, a great question. So Brewers, Mark, Outkick, box score, Miz. They play again on Saturday. I do want to share this. NBC put out their the Netflix thing. The broadcast was dumb. It was basically just a Netflix infomercial. That's how Netflix does sports. They're into events. I don't think, want a 16-game week NFL package. I think they just want the big events. And so when you're going to have games on Netflix, they're going to poach talent from other networks and like pay them live golf type money. And then for some reason, the Uso brothers are going to be there and Bert Kreischer is going to be there and they're going to bring a trolley there. And there's going to be a giant Netflix logo in McCovey's Cove. We're living in late stage capitalism. We are lucky that it's not the San Francisco Giants brought to you by Netflix. There's a team in MLS called the New York Red Bulls because Red Bull has different, they bought different soccer teams overseas in America, and then they throw Red Bull in the name. That's their branding. So yeah, jersey sponsors and renaming stadiums and all of this sucks. If you think it sucks. But we could have the, I don't know, the Minnesota Twins. Why not change them to the Minnesota M&Ms? You know, they're still Twins. Keep the logo. I don't want to get into that point. So Netflix is going to do what Netflix is going to do. The thing I liked about Wednesday night was that it was a standalone game. So I actually encourage baseball to have more standalone games. Yeah, it was on Netflix. And I wish they didn't pick a New York team because they're going to make the biggest fucking stink about it. And now if you're a Yankees fan, it's a lot worse because there's like a Prime Video package that shares 20 games, and then you need Peacock, and then you need all this shit. It's a lot. But the alternative, remember when we didn't have baseball on TV? Remember when we had one baseball game on TV? Remember when the Brewers only showed games on Sundays if they were at home on TV? We get to watch every game on TV. I'm not trying to like stick up for everything I usually fight against. And I know it sucks. And I hate when things are on streaming and then things are on, like last night was fun because if you wanted to watch baseball, it was on NBC. And then if you wanted to watch March Madness, it was on CBS or TBS. And then there's like there's soccer games on FS1. And there's a lot going on. I just don't like when I have to go to the streamer and then go to that's what I don't like. So it is probably too much. We're probably all headed to streaming anyway. It's a pain in the ass when I try to watch like Monday Night Raw on Netflix because you can't skip the commercials anymore, which you used to be able to. And then you watch WWE and then it's like all fucking commercials. And that there's Slim Jim logos on the different fucking tables. Oh, you snapped them into a Slim Jim table. All right. Unrelated, we are brought to you by Happy Place Hemp. Promo code is BART, 25% off each and every order. Promo code BART. Somebody just tweeted me yesterday. They said, I can't believe this deal still works. I expect it not to work. Oh, it works. It works. It's been working for about 4 damn years. So Happy Place Hemp, your gummies, your tinctures, and more. Whether you want the THC products, whether you just want the CBN products to help you sleep, the CBD products, all of that. There's different stuff that you can try. There's sampler packs. And again, you try it once, you use the code. You can try it another time and still use the code. That's happyplacehemp.com. All right, folks, I need to show you the NBC tweet from NBC Sports. I'll play a little bit of this. I don't think it's going to destroy my YouTube monetization techniques. But a few weeks ago, as I've talked about, I went to Miller Park. The code helps fund the pod. Mention that. Yes, Ben. The code does help fund the pod. So it takes money out of your pocket, helps fund the pod. Yeah. Okay. Not takes money out of your pocket, keeps money in your pocket. I mean, you're still buying something. So, blah, 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 blah. Tim! God, Tim was great yesterday. Chugging that beer. All right. NBC Sports. Are you ready for the show? Here's a first look at the new Zach Brown Band Open for Sunday Night Baseball on NBC and Peacock. So NBC, and I think they're getting a lot the stuff that Netflix is getting, the anti-ness with Netflix. What the fuck? The stuff that Netflix is getting is the opposite of what NBC is getting, because NBC does do a good job with sports. They do a good presentation. Everything seems big. Everything seems important. Everything seems prestige. I think prestige is a big word. So they like when they have these broadcasts, they don't just want to do, here's the game or da-da-da, here's the game. They want to do a big production behind it. So NBC contacted the Zach Brown Band, as this is public knowledge here, to do the open for the show, Sunday Night Baseball. There is Sunday Night Baseball this week. I don't think the open is going to start to be ready for a couple weeks. I'm not entirely sure, but I want to show you a little bit of the open. Think Carrie Underwood Sunday Night Football, and now Zach Brown Band for baseball.
Get ready for Sunday Night Baseball.
Okay, first of all, this is at Miller Park, American Family Field. And maybe you can tell. So I was at this. Short story long. I was at this. I was an extra in the crowd. And the Zach Brown Band, they had the drummer on home plate. They had Zach Brown. There's a drone shot right in front of him. This is Miller Park behind him. Now they're splicing in clips from baseball. Okay, here we go. Everybody, if you're on the Dan Shaney YouTube stream, this is the Zach Brown Band. They are on a stage on the visitor dugout. This is on the visitor dugout. You see this arm here? and this white hat. Does this back of the head look familiar to anybody? That is me. My brother's right here, cut off. This is me. Josh Albrecht's like back here somewhere. I ran into him there. But this is me right there. So this is just the opening shot. I don't know if you'll ever see my face. I don't know if they're going to show any of the crowd's face. And this is just a 30-second thing. But this is me. And that's the Zach Brown Band. So I'm excited to see what this looks like coming up when they finish it. But that's me. I got some other things. I want to talk NBA here and stuff, but if anyone wants to join, I could say hi. We'll throw up a link. JR says, what a life you live. This was a Thursday night a couple of weeks ago. I got paid $200 for this, which I haven't got the check yet. But a lot of these other people are like extras from Chicago that drove up for this and then did Chicago PD or some shit the next day. But there I am. White hat, white shirt. I didn't roll my sleeve up on purpose so that I could tell who I was better. And then my brother's right there. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see. Odds I won't see the money, 50-50 shot. Dude, I had to fill out like 17 different fucking forms to do this thing. Tax forms, all this kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm eager to see that come out relatively soon. The other TV note I do want to mention, the NFL has announced that the season is going to start on Wednesday night of this year, that first week. It'll be the Seahawks. And then the Rams and Niners are going to be broadcast on Thursday night. That'll probably be on a streamer. I don't think we know that yet, but it's going to be a Thursday. So if you're watching football, if you're a football fan in Wisconsin, in America, you're going to have a game Wednesday night to watch. Or you're going to have a game on Thursday night. Okay. It's like an extra night. But the game you're going to be watching Thursday night at 7:30 in Milwaukee is actually going to be played at 10:30 on Friday morning in Australia. I don't think we need this. I don't think we need the international package. They tried to play a La Liga game here, the Spanish Soccer League. They tried to play a game in December, a regular season game in Miami, and they like had it scheduled and everything. And the fans like protested and the clubs weren't about it. And it didn't happen. But the NFL is trying to export their product as much as they can. We're going to get to a line where it's too much. I think this is too much. You're watching a game on Thursday night that's being played Friday morning. Do we really, for the NFL product to be successful, do we really need Brock Purdy trying to throw bombs to Mike Evans on a Friday morning in Sydney at brunch time? Do we really need that? I don't think we do, but they're going to go ahead with it anyway. The NFL is a business. They're going to look to continue to expand. Talking late stage capitalism. It's better that there's not a team in Sydney full time. It's better that there's not teams overseas full times. But this one seems, even Brazil. I didn't love that we went to Brazil. I didn't love the field. I didn't love that Jordan Love got hurt on it. I don't love that we're doing all this for one thing, one night. I don't love it. This is a division game, guys. This is a division game. so I don't love it. Time is relative. Yeah, that's true. Should we stick to complaining about things? Sure. Why not? It's Friday morning at brunch time. It's God knows what time in Australia. Final Four coming up. Elite Eight this weekend. Sweet 16 started last night. Houston was my pick to win the championship. Why? I'm an idiot. Dumb. I'm in a survivor pool, and I took Iowa. And you get more points if your team is higher seeded. So I was between Iowa and Nebraska. I convinced myself into Iowa. Did not look good until it did. Nebraska led for most of this game. And then Iowa started hitting shots. Nebraska shots stopped falling. And then it was 71-68. Iowa had gone up 6. Nebraska just hit a 3. And then Iowa was set to inbound the ball. Now, I do want to play this. I'm kind of worried about playing March Madness. Fuck it. You know what happened. Iowa inbounded the ball. There were only 4 people on the court. Kevin Harlan immediately said, "What is happening?" or "What happened?" or he knew something was wrong. And then they went back and reviewed it. And they're like, did they only have 4 guys on the court? The Big Ten is rolling in this tournament. So really the only bracket that I'm doing okay in is I did Dan Shaney's got a pool. Dan Shaney Insurance, danshaney.com. Couple great things about that. We know Dan, he loves the pod. He supports the pod. Sean O'Connell still giving out still using the Dan Shaney koozies for Dan Shaney Insurance runs. Still bringing him to every game he goes to at the ballpark. Sean, you're the best. My rates lower than they were last year. Also good. And still lower than when I switched over from where I switched over. Unrelated, the Brewers play at American Family Field. And Dan Shaney has a bracket that is free to join. So I did my normal bracket because you get 3 entries, and that's where I took Houston. I did my kids' bracket. He's got Duke, so we got a big night tonight. And I did a contrarian to who I assume Dan Shaney's other customers were bracket. So I figured everyone's going to pick Wisconsin, so I took High Point in that one. And then I figured everyone's going to shit on the Big Ten, so I took like the Big Ten teams as far as I kind of could take them. I'm in like 14th place, maybe out of a few hundred. But Purdue's my champ. And I'm one of the few people with Purdue. I don't think Purdue's going to win, but I want to do a contrarian bracket. That's got to be the way we do brackets going forward. I took Houston. Why the fuck I take Houston? You gotta know your audience, honey. You got to know your audience. You got to play how you think you're going to win the bracket. That's how you do the brackets. Not who do you think's going to win. Who do you think other people are thinking is going to win, and then take the alternative. So still alive in that one. But I was like, I have a real hard time with people complaining about something good when they want it to be great. I have a hard time when people complain about something great because it's not perfect. Last night was great. Last night, there were 2 great games, and they shifted the schedule. So one started 20 minutes before the other one. And we had 2 close finishes at the same time. We shouldn't have had that. The game that started second, Iowa-Nebraska, finished before Purdue-Texas. And then in the second games, they were both at halftime at the same time. And you'd like things to be a little more staggered. But we're always going to find a way to complain about what we're getting. We're always going to find a way to complain about what we're getting. And we got 2 really good games with 2 really good finishes. You don't know that's going to happen. And this has been scheduled this way for years. And if there was a tweak in the schedule, if a game started at 5, let's say, and then 7, and then 9, and then 11, well, now we're complaining about one game's too late, one game's too early. We're always going to find a way to complain until we get the best night of our lives. And there are sports on your television essentially 365 days a fucking year. So I don't understand why we always need to complain about things that are good. You get good enjoyment. You get a lot of different sports on a lot of different channels. Like I said earlier, you can pretty much watch anything you want. I was watching like Wales versus Bolivia or some weird ass soccer game yesterday. I'm just watching. You can watch like anything you want, and then it's still not good enough. The amount of time we spend complaining on All-Star games, it's one night. It doesn't need to be perfect. Oh, last night was great, but it wasn't perfect. Why couldn't they stagger? I'm just so tired of trying this desire for every night to be the best sports night of our lives. If every night was the best sports night of our lives, wouldn't that get exhausting? Wouldn't you then be like, oh, I need a break? And that's another thing, the NFL, they're trying to go, they want to play 7 days a week. And then it sounds good, but then you're going to want a break. You got to find that middle zone where you can't. I saw everybody just bitching last night. I was just like, fuck, this is something I need to bitch about. Jeez. All right, so I said my piece on that. Let's shift to the Shams tweet. And if you're just joining us, happy Friday morning for those on the live stream. There's a lot of stuff going on. Got to spew it out. And again, I will be going to San Diego next week. Nervous because I'm going to fly and I hate flying. What do I hate the most about flying? I think I hate that I can't see where we're going. I think that bothers me. And then I can't like see where I don't know. Could something just, I don't know. There was like a near collision. I don't know. I can't see. I still don't understand how pilots learn how to land planes. I can't understand how you land a plane. You're in a, and then you just, I can't grasp that. Landing a plane, I think, has to be the hardest thing in the world. I cannot understand it. So kudos to them. Probably the job I would least want to do. Like if I was in The Giver and I got my slip and it said, you're a pilot. I don't know what I'd do, and I don't want to say anything extreme, but I wouldn't be happy. Also, there's no book I love referencing more than The Giver. The other one is Hatchet. I like those. I remember from grade school, not my lunches, but I remember those books. All right, so a lot of NBA news. Looks like we're going to expand. Seattle's probably going to get the Supersonics back. We all want that. Las Vegas probably going to get another team. I don't know that that's set in stone, but it seems likely. So they're going to have in 11 years, they're going to have got 5 pro teams, from a football team to a baseball team to a basketball team, hockey team, and then WNBA. They don't have an MLS team. They do have a USL team, I think. And then, of course, WWE loves going there. The UFC loves going there. Boxing loves going there. Las Vegas, I don't know that they can support 5 clubs. Could Milwaukee support? Think Milwaukee here. You know, Packers are in Green Bay. Could Milwaukee support the Packers, the Bucks, an NHL team with all due, an WNBA team, and then the other one I'm forgetting, or I'm not. I don't think so. That's a lot. That's a lot. Las Vegas is not that big, but there's got a lot of tourism, and I think that is where they're hoping to have a lot of fans. You watch these Raiders games. That's the destination trip. Should we go to Vegas? Nah. Oh, but the Packers are playing there. Okay, we'll go. You know, and then you can do a destination trip. You can do a destination trip around a basketball team soon. Hockey. Baseball, I think, would be a fun one. I think the baseball team fucking sucks that they're moving from Oakland, but I think a baseball team can actually be successful because you can do a 3-day trip, go to the games, have something to do. You know, you have that like there. You have like a reason to go other than just gambling and watching a burlesque show. That's not how you pronounce that. All right, let's look at the Shams tweet. This is the apparent structure they want to go with an NBA draft lottery. The NBA presented 3 comprehensive anti-tanking concepts to its Board of Governors Wednesday, with modifications expected to each before a formal vote in May. So these are the potential ways that the NBA is going to fix tanking. I see this tweet. I see words. I see numbers. I've not read or processed any of this. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know what I'm about to say. And then I don't know how I'm going to process or understand the information. I do know that already I can tell these words are a lot and they seem complicated. This reminds me of like anytime we would do a radio segment and we'd say, how do you fix the blank? How do you fix MLB? How do you fix the All-Star game? And then there's suggestions that come in and they're fine. But then by the end of the show, they're getting ridiculous. And it looks like some of these are going to be ridiculous. I don't want it to be hard to explain to somebody who isn't ingrained. Like when the play-in tournament happened, that's complicated. But because we've been watching the NBA forever, so you kind of figure it out after a while. And then the NBA Cup, complicated. But I was just trying to explain to my kid again the other day about the play-in tournament, and we're still, I'm teaching him Chinese, man. It's very complicated. So let's see, what does this say? What are they going to try to do? So, okay, Bart, before you shit on these, what is the alternative? I don't know, man. I don't know. Shorten the season's the fucking alternative. Shorten the season. 82 games is too long. Shorten the season. We've known forever who these 10 teams are going to be. There's no mystery in the NBA right now. There's no pennant race. There's no pennant race. Right now, the mystery in the NBA regarding who's going to be in the playoffs, I guess, would be like the Hawks have gone from play-in to the 5th seed right now. They're playing awesome. And the Magic dipped down, and the Sixers are kind of neck and neck with the Raptors and Hawks. So they're trying to avoid the play-in. But the Heat at the 10 are 14 games back of the Pistons, and the Bucks at the 11 are 23.5 games back. They're 9.5 games back of who's going to be in this play-in tournament. In the West, the Warriors are 10. The Pelicans are 11. There's a 10.5 game gap there. There's no drama. There's not even really drama over who's going to make the play-in over there. So all we're doing for the next, and really, I'll say a couple weeks, but it's really been 2 months of what spot in the 4 to 9 range are some of these teams going to get. And that's just not that exciting because so many teams have decided we're not going to get in. We don't want to do that. We're just going to bow out and we don't care. All right, let me read these. I haven't read these yet. 1, 18 teams in the NBA draft lottery. So teams seeded 7 through 15 in each conference. Flattened odds. The bottom 10 teams have an 8% chance. The remaining 20% odds distributed decreasing order for 11 through 18 and a lottery drawing for all 18 picks. If this is first, does that mean this is the easiest? So there's going to be 18 teams in the draft lottery. Flattened odds. The bottom 10 teams have an 8% chance. So the Bucks would have an 8% chance. And then the remaining 20% odds would be distributed in decreasing order from 11 through 18. I feel like this is something where we keep going further because the worst team used to have the best odds. And so teams were trying to tank for that. Really, just go back to that. Just go back to that. Because then we already shifted. Okay, now 4 teams get like 12.5% odds. And so these 4 teams think they all have an equal shot. And now we're going, just go back to that. I don't know that the worst team should get the best chance at the player. That is socialism. Really, I feel like you should just pick everybody out of a hat. The best team got the best pick. Okay, well, that was random. Everybody's going to try. There's no incentive to lose. The way to solve this is promotion relegation. The way to solve this is if you're in the bottom 3, you're kicked out of the fucking league. But there's nowhere to go. That's why there's no tanking in all these soccer leagues, because they're all these other soccer leagues or these other leagues, they're built on like every team has a chance and you can climb the ladder, but that's not how it works here. To get into the top league, you buy your way in. Like San Diego's got a soccer club. They've had a soccer club for a long time. That soccer club in other countries would be able to earn their way to the MLS, but that's not what happened. The MLS was looking for expansion fees because they're a pyramid scheme, and a bidder in San Diego said, I'll do it. Here's money. And then they go, well, what about this team? Well, you're going to need to dissolve. Separate things. It's just, so the first one sucks. 22 teams in the lottery using a 2-year record, seeds 7 through 15, plus the 4 playoff first-round exits in both conferences. Lottery teams would reach a minimum win total floor in each season, such as 25 wins. If a team falls short of the floor, it gets slotted to meet the floor. Top 4 drawn as part of lottery, as is currently. What does that mean? How do you follow this? This is like my baseball complaint. I go to the ballpark now. You're going to see the innings, on the box score, the line score, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You already have that up there. They show you how many runs were scored each inning. And then next to it was always RHE, run, hits, errors. Important to know when watching and keeping score and telling the story of a baseball game. Now there's MVR, mound visits remaining. They have left on base up there for some reason, not necessary. They have challenges up there as well. It's just, and then you look at the NBA standings and it's like clinch playoff, play-in, clinch. This is so overcomplicated. 3, 18 teams in a 5x5 lottery. Bottom 5 teams have equal odds for the top pick with lottery formatted picks 1 through 5. Bottom 5 teams have a floor at 10. Those that fall out of top 5 get sorted in a separate drawing. I am reading these words. I am not comprehending these words. I am not understanding a goddamn thing. I don't know what I'm telling you. I don't know what I'm saying. Just do a lot of give everyone that doesn't make the playoffs then equal odds. It doesn't need to be the whole league. Everyone gets equal odds. What is this? What is this? You should be moving towards simplification, not overcomplication. And that's what always happens. I always say the rule tree, rules on top of rules. When the NFL adds a new rule, then it determines there's a loophole in that rule, and then you try to find a way to change that rule. So you're changing all these things, and now it's just so complicated. We don't need this. Bruce says they should move the NBA Cup to the end of the season for the teams playing for the best lottery pick. That's anti-tanking. There could be something you do with that. I still think when we talk about this, the players don't give a shit. The players aren't going to be like, we got to win this game. We got to get a better pick. They don't care. They don't care. Maybe some do if you're like our superstar. Like Giannis might care. Oh, I want a better pick. I'll try. But the rest of his teammates, like, who's a team that's shitty right now? The Mavericks. Okay, so the Mavericks. Like, yeah, Cooper Flagg's going to be motivated in those games because he knows he's a part of the future. But everybody else might be like, well, who are we drafting? If we're drafting this guy, I actually don't want the number 1 pick. He's going to come in here and take my job and cost me money. I'm not going to play hard to get him. The players don't care as much as the fans do. Players don't care as much as the fans do. That's something they need to work on. And I don't know how they do that. So I don't have an answer. I'm not going to sit here and tear apart all these ideas when I don't have an answer. But please try to find a way to oversimplify it. And in Adam Silver's NBA, that is not the MO. Making things more complicated than they need to be. You still have people that can't understand what the NBA Cup is. Why is the floor different? What are those standings? Why are the division standings in the NBA Cup different than the division standings normally? What is the point of that? That makes no sense. And then they rotated them again. What are you doing? And Adam Silver only reacts when people make a big fuss about something. How many players are sitting out? All of a sudden, Adam Silver has to look at the Bucks because Giannis is sitting out. Because he's embarrassed. Because there's some noise. Adam Silver wants to go on the internet and see only good things said about his league. And anything that's not said, he takes as a personal embarrassment. He's too emotional. You can't commission your league on your sleeve. God, he's bad. He's a bad commissioner. He's bad. Lizard person Adam Silver has no idea what his human fans want. ALOL 9632. Yeah, that might be the problem. Maybe in lizard land, all that shit I just read makes sense. Maybe lizard's brains, maybe reading all that for a lizard brain is like, oh, most wins equal championship. But our human brains aren't able to comprehend all these strategies. How are these 85-year-old owners figuring this shit out either? They're just like, well, I'll have somebody figure out what makes me the most money. What these people love my product and they're paying me. How do I get more money from them? How about you say thanks for being here in the first place? Speaking of Giannis, what's that? What's that report? Sam Amick of The Athletic. Never mind that Giannis Antetokounmpo has a long and legendary reputation of playing through pain, or that the Bucks never seemed to take issue with that quality when it gave them a chance to win a championship. The team's current stance that he won't be medically cleared to play despite the strong indications that he believes he's good to go is the clearest sign yet that these two parties are headed for a divorce this summer. So the headline there is Giannis and Bucks headed for a divorce. This season has been a disaster for Bucks fans. Everything sucks. Doc Rivers being the coach, I think, is the worst part of it. And the owners letting this happen is the worst part. You set expectations with Adrian Griffin being fired, that you demand better with on-the-court results and maybe whatever was going on off the court. And then you have Doc Rivers. You have Doc Rivers like being the iceberg. Hey, smooth sailing here. And Doc takes the wheel and goes right into the iceberg. And the owners are just watching it. I think the Bucks have made mistakes retroactively. They have made moves that did not work out. The Dame move looked great at the time. Everyone thought it was great. How that didn't work out sucks. The Miles Turner, I thought that was creative. I thought that was clever. I thought that was entertaining. I thought that should work. But it didn't. But it was the Bucks trying to stay competitive while their back was against the wall. The ship is sinking. They're still trying to keep it afloat. And they're doing everything that they can. And they're using a bucket to pail out the water. Well, now the bucket's too heavy. So now they get rid of the bucket. Well, now how do we survive? So it's very difficult. So I don't The same way with the Brewers. Like, the Bucks have been trying. It's just it's not working. But since Jimmy Haslam came here, that doesn't seem to be the same. Doc Rivers should not be coaching this basketball team. As this has been happening, Giannis, I don't like that we have somebody, Brett Favre, adore him. What did we do? Turned on him. Aaron Rodgers, adore him. What did we do? Turn on him. Ryan Braun, adore him. What did we do? Turn on him. Not me. Giannis Antetokounmpo, adore him. What are we doing? Turning on him. I don't like that that's a pattern that doesn't seem to be ending anytime soon. Will we turn on Jackson Churio? Will we turn on Jordan Love? Will we turn on Micah Parsons? I don't want to turn on these guys. And I do think Giannis is conflicted. I do think Giannis wants, like what I was saying with baseball, I'd love to know if you could do two things at once. I'd love to see a 162-game baseball season at the same time you see a 17-game baseball season. But you can't do that. You have to pick one. I think Giannis wants to be a Buck for his whole career. He wants that life. He also doesn't. He wants a life where he sees other things, where he explores other things. He's going to have to pick one. Right now, he's straddling the fence and trying to make the Bucks pick for him. When you can't make a decision, you try to have someone else pick for you. Isn't that the best part about a fantasy draft? You're coming up. There's two guys. You don't know who to pick. Guy in front of you takes the running back that you were picking between. Okay, I can take the other guy. You can't blame yourself. You can't have regret if you couldn't make the choice in the first place. So Giannis seems to be wanting the Bucks to be the ones to make the decision. That's how it comes across. And Giannis this year, basketball, the whole thing with I can play. No, you can't. You've been injured 3 times now this season, which I don't buy at least one of them. Sorry. You're off, obviously more in tune to the other ventures you have than the thing you're supposed to be doing. You got hired to play basketball. Why are you at the Super Bowl promoting your gummy? You should be promoting my gummy. HappyPlaceHemp.com, promo code BART. Why are you unveiling a sponsorship and partnership with Kelce the day after the trade deadline? I mean, that's so fucking sloppy. The Milwaukee Bucks are not his top priority right now, nor is basketball. It's just, I think when a lot of people saw the headline, Bucks headed for divorce, Bucks Giannis headed for divorce, that doesn't hit the way it used to. And then everybody that's, why are we talking about this? This is so annoying. You brought it up 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. You brought it up. But I'm a Bucks fan. You're a Bucks fan. I'm annoyed. He gets traded? Fine. Is that what you wanted? Is that what you wanted? It's at a point right now where it's not even going to be anger. It's going to be apathy. Even if Giannis signs an extension, are you jumping through hoops? Remember the last extension he signed? We had a party, celebration. If Giannis signs an extension, I'll be more happy that, Shams is going to be pissed off again and everybody's going to look stupid for the last 10 years than I will be that he's actually here to make my basketball team good. It's apathy. You wore us down. You wore us down. And now the Bucks are going to be moving on from you, it seems. That sucks. Sucks it had to end this way. And I'm not even sure it's going to end. He might still sign a contract. I don't know. I don't know that he knows what he wants. I think he's being stretched too thin, first of all. He's trying to do too much. I don't know. But I did a podcast on a Friday morning with this Giannis thing to talk about. I made a little rundown of the things I want to talk about. I put it at the bottom, 65 minutes into the show. That's where we're at on Giannis. That's where we're at. That in and of itself sucks. Apathy. Nothing worse than apathy. Yesterday was epic, the pinnacle of the Winklerverse. Thank you, Bucky. Yesterday was fun. Walked around the opening day stadium. There's 2 videos online. Sorry. One is the live 2.5 hours, 2 hours unedited. And then I did take out all the am I on? I took out that so that you can watch it and not have to relive that. But that's the audio podcast, which I think will play all right. But yeah, thanks. That was fun. So next week on vacation, might still get a pod here coming up. I thought you were banned from Brewers Stadium. No. I'm in. I don't think I could apply for a credential right now. I don't think I'm with an outlet that will give me one, but I can go to the stadium. I went for Zach Brown and I went to the exhibition. We're good. I can go in the stadium if I want. I don't have a credential. We're good. Had a little too much fun another time. All's well that ends well. We don't talk about it. We don't talk about playoffs. No. We don't talk about Game 5. All right. I got a voicemail from David in Buffalo. Carl's Place voicemail line. This is a wrestling one. So thank you, everybody. We'll see you later. This is from David in Buffalo.
What's going on, Bart? This is David from Buffalo. Got to jump in and talk about Monday Night Raw. Couple thoughts here, man. Great night for Femi again. He's definitely going to crush Lesnar at WrestleMania. Let's just say the theme song is Bones to the Crows by Nickelback. I think Femi is going to leave Brock Lesnar's bones to the Crows in Las Vegas at WrestleMania. A couple other things, man. How many more renditions of the Bloodline are we going to get? The NWO Black and White and the NWO Wolfpack thinks that's tired and played out. I mean, I guess probably what's going to happen is Punk is going to get screwed by The Rock or the Usos or Rikishi or Solo Sikoa. And it's going to be one big faction again. Been there, done that. I mean, I remember a couple years ago when Rich Eisen had a show. He talked to Paul Heyman and said the Bloodline story is in the 6th inning. I mean, what inning is it in now? I mean, who cares? It's boring. It's tired. It's played out. Honestly, there's not a whole lot else that really interests me. I heard that Tom Brady might be wrestling at WrestleMania. He's not losing. I don't think he's signed up to lose. It'd be interesting, I guess, how the crowd reaction is. They'll probably boo him. But I don't know, man. Just kind of from what people are saying online, it sounds like AEW gives more bang for your buck now. I guess the ticket prices, too, with WWE are just getting out of control. So appreciate the time, dude. I'll talk to you soon.
Well, yeah, right now, I mean, WWE's, thanks, David, is the top dog, and AEW is, still trying to take some of the. I think AEW came off strong. I think it got weird for a little bit, and I think they're rebounding very well. And I do keep in touch with the product. I'm watching more WWE. Like we'll watch SmackDown tonight because of my kid. I don't know that I want to get him into WWE and then try to explain him what AEW is. I was hoping AJ Styles would go over there because he likes AJ Styles, and that could have been a good transition. And it's also a little too much. I don't want to buy a pay-per-view and have him see MJF put a needle through fucking Hangman's mouth. But I also don't like that in WWE. The big angle is the big angle is Randy and Cody, and they made Cody bleed, and then they edited the blood out, everything after. But my kid was very scarred from Orton kicking the shit out of Cody. Like, he did not. That was not good. Mania's in Vegas. Maybe Brady does like a guest appearance. They're having a hard time selling tickets. Still into the product, though. I still watch that. I still watch it. But the build has been pretty bad. But the show will probably be fine. They always seem to figure it out. I think the problem is they're too focused on trying to outsmart the viewer rather than entertain. And that's where the problem is with WWE, like with their Untold and all that kind of stuff. That's where that's going. All right. That should cover it for this Friday. Again, maybe I'll pop on after. I'll try to do something Sunday night, but this could be the last one for a little bit because of vacation next week. And maybe the last one ever if my plane doesn't land. When I go on trips, I have to say that a lot. I have to say it to feel better about it. It's very fucked up up here, as you guys are well aware. Well aware. Thank you. I wish I could reach through and hug you for your support. Like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Thanks for stopping into the Winklerverse.